Outcome-based education. This is Dr. Venkatachalapathi, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In this outcome-based education, I would like to discuss about outline of this presentation. Why is outcome-based education in engineering colleges? What are the issues in teaching and learning? What is Washington Accord? Outcome-based education. In that, there are subtopics of implementation of OBE in any engineering college and program objectives and program specific outcomes, program outcomes, and what are the learning outcomes and assessment tools and issues and a continuous quality improvement. So especially in this outcome based education, the student is able to understand the course, and at the end of the course he can able to assess. You can do the based on that subject completion of that course, how do you able to do for the industry requirement. So in that we can supposed to understand, first of all, why outcome based education. So this is what, to fulfill the requirements of Engineering Accreditation Council. So look at, to fulfill the requirements of Engineering Accreditation Council according to Washington Accord. So this is whenever in any educational institute, that is higher educational institute, so what they will follow, the requirements of Engineering Accreditation Council, that is called EAC. When the EAC will be compared with Washington Accord, if any institution, either it may be a deemed to be university or affiliated university or autonomous institution, so the institution having this outcome based education, with based on this education only, the requirement of accreditation like NBA, NAC and autonomous will assess the institution based on the quality and quantity of the objectives. Okay, and this outcome based education, it is a natural way of what higher level education should be based on EAC. That is what I told, Engineering Accreditation Council. Whenever any institution having EAC accreditation means the student able to assess globally workable, he can able to get the higher studies in abroad. If we institution having this EAC certification, definitely he can get easy for some graduate and post graduation at the abroad, like USA and New Zealand and wherever, Taiwan, etc. But in India also, certain institution following that accreditation, Engineering Accreditation Council, and whenever the accreditation will be assessed by the institution should have a outcome based education. So in this, another important point is, it requires elements of outcomes in engineering curriculum. So this is what very important. For example, an engineering, the 4-year BTech graduation. So in the 4 years of course, there are nearly 50 to 55 courses will be there. In that, what is the curriculum can be designed by some of the boards of studies and academic council, and this is based on the industry requirement. The curriculum will be prepared based on the requirement of industry, so that the student will get good opportunities in the present technological aspects also. Okay, so that is why outcome based education is this, to fulfill the requirements of Engineering Accreditation Council and also that Washington Accord. And before going to discuss about this outcome based education, in general we have a traditional method teaching in traditional methods, the teacher will comes and they will teach according to the textbook, whatever there in the textbook they can teach, and the student able to just whatever the content it is there in the textbook, they will read and by heart, and they can put into the examination. And finally, based on the marks, that is a by heart, not for real, what is required industry, what is not required, and how the student capacity also, it can depend upon the student to student. The way of thinking levels also, it will be vary. So based on that, you should able to follow the teacher centering methods. The student also, you can assess each student mindset will be different, and you can able to attract the engineering education where the outcome based education. Okay, now look at what are the various issues in teaching learning. So nowadays, you can see the student intake. So wherever, why the qualification? So especially you can see the recently, because of the pandemic situation, COVID-19, all the 10th and lower, first class to 5th standard and 5th standard to 10th and even plus 1 plus 2 inter, they didn't conduct the examination directly by putting some internal assessment, and they awarded degree. And what is the based on that qualification, and how without conducting a examination, without putting some assessment in the some assignments, then they are giving marks, and finally they are suffering in the technical education. When they can join in the engineering college, they don't have proper concept, and they don't have some requirement, especially in engineering. It is the application of maths, physics, chemistry. A student which is able to having the complete idea about the maths, physics, chemistry can able to survive in the 4 year of BTech. They can learn effectively, and they can able to get the outcome is to place in a some MNC company. So that is what, if you have a qualification nowadays, according to the new education policy, they are going to be segregate in the different levels: school and college and diploma and engineering and higher education. And whenever, if you wanted to get a job in intermediate level, also can able to get the job based on your outcome. So based on your efficiency in your subject, and how you can implement the subject knowledge into the industry requirements. That is the students now it is thinking. So whenever the college, they wanted to take the quality students, so they can able to conduct some examination, that is a competitive examination. Nowadays you can see always the people are thinking of the JE, joint engineering entrance examination. So where joint entrance examination, JE, first mains exam and advanced examination, that is totally for concept oriented, competitive. And once they have qualified JE exam, definitely they may get in some NITs. If you qualify advanced exam, IITs, and based on that test only, they will take the student intake as per the requirement of the students, how many number of seats available, and what is the qualification is required, and what is the quantity. So that is why first top most important, they can based on the examination, like a competitive examination like JE and some MSET and TS set, Telangana state MSET, like that. And that is what the student always, they want to have some degree. Obviously, they should thorough knowledge of the some concept in maths, physics, chemistry. So apart from that, the staff, any technical institution, the qualification of the staff is very, very important. So wherever the people are searching in which institution having a high quality faculty, how do you assess the quality of the faculty? Depending upon the qualification is staff. He may be assistant professor or associate professor or professor. He is having the qualification like MTech, PhD. A MTech qualified faculty can teach BTech students. Same BTech faculty, how he can teach the BTech. So that is why certain rules and regulations framed in the some council, accreditation council. Based on that, you should follow certain qualification and competency in the present scenario. So if you compete with the technologies, definitely you may not able to fulfill in the further progress also. That is why the staff also, the qualification is very important, and also you can able to update the knowledge as per the requirement of the industry. And another third important thing is teaching process. Teaching process means when you wanted to do a course teaching, you should have a transparent. So whatever the teacher says, the student can able to listen. And at the same time, you are the sole and whole control of the class. A class having the 60 number of students, definitely we are supposed to control, and whatever you can teach the subject after assessing your teaching, and how do you know that the student able to understand your subject or not, your teaching pattern he can able to understand or not. So in nowadays you can see traditionally the people are always in lower cases also. A means apple, B means ball, like that. Now it is different. A means some aeroplane, different type of things has been updated. And similarly, if you think the controlling the students also very important. If you have the clear idea of the subject, definitely you can able to control the students also. When suppose for example, a teacher can able to explain, he can keep the two apples in the table. Suddenly he raised the question about how many apples there in the classroom. Suddenly, one student stand up and says that only two apples, and one more student they stand up and tell there is a three apples. Then immediately, what the teacher assessment, because in the table they kept only two apples, they thought that is only two apples. But another student, one more apple is there in his bag, so that he say it is a three apple. So that is what a student thinking is different. So nowadays 60 number of students is there. There is a 60 different type of ideas will be there. The teacher should be able to go the student centric. So what the student will think, what is the outcome of that student, what the main aim of the student, what is the passion of the student. First we should be able to identify the student, then you can able to deliver the lecture. And similarly, if you have a transparent in teaching, definitely the student can able to control, and whatever you can say, it may be listen, and finally he may survive in the society. And another important thing, how do you assess? So for example, this is for example, I am handling a manufacturing process subject. In this project, in this course, there are 5 units are there. In the 5 units, what are the outcomes? So first, initially, before taking into the manufacturing process subject, that course, initially the student able to aim the 5 units. The first unit is a metal casting, second unit it is a welding, third unit is an extrusion, fourth unit is a some metal forming process, like that. So in this all the 5 units, first you should be able to understand what are the units, and after completion of the course, at the completion of the course, the student is aim, he can able to solve the problem according to your casting, he can able to design a pattern, he can able to manufacturing a component, he can able to identify the some complicated shapes, he can able to perform some good manufacturing process. So that is very important. Simply traditionally the people are just studying the textbook as per the examination pattern, they can write and they can study and deliver the things, and finally getting marks, and they don't know what is the implementation of that ideas, what is there in the subject. That is why the traditionally it is different. The conventional methods are very positive learners are there. Whatever the teacher will teach, the student able to listen and get the marks, that is different. Now present generation, it is in this case, it is a active learners or more. Active learners in that is what I have given the example, the apple example. A teacher can hold two apples in the table, one more. Sometimes others having another apple also, you may raise there are four apples. So that is already he has explained that one apple, and another apple also is having that four apples. Like that, each mindset will be different from the uh, teacher centering and student centering. That is what this outcomes. And apart from this assessment, in the sense when wanted to assess the student means by conducting some test assignments and some project works, etc. Okay, that we will discuss in detail. And apart from this, courses, what are the courses up to date, relevant? Actually, when I was studying, there will be some topics still. The syllabus upgrade may be taken either 5 years or 10 years, like that. Even that education policy also, it will be changes for years and years. It has been changed nearly more than 20 years to become the new education policy based on the changes in the technology and what the student required, what the industry required, how do you accommodate academic in the industry. And another important thing is facilities. Facilities are very, very important. Any student will attract the infrastructure facilities and resources, faculties and laboratories, and what are the advanced techniques like computers and ICT techniques. They are having the up to date knowledge. So that is what you can say. Majorly, any new things come in the major cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi, and Mumbai, etc. But some rural background colleges, they will maintain same thing up to date. They are not able to maintain, and they need some time to compete with the some city type of city based students. Now present generation, you should compare with globally, not only in India, you should compare it with the global type of students. That is why now it is a very open type education. Whatever the information, if you click in a button in the Google, all the information you are able to get it in your hand. But traditionally, when you wanted to have a subject, you go to the library, you can search it, and you what type of author and what type of publication. There is this traditional process, tedious process is there. Nowadays, the people are having a mobile phone. Whatever the thing, just you can click it, you will get a lot of information. The student able to identify, and he can able to search what information required, what information useful. Based on that thing only, he can able to assess. Okay, so these are the some issues in teaching learning. That is why this outcome based education is started in majority of a higher education institution. And based on this outcome based education, and this what is Washington Accord. So especially why you are compared with Washington Accord only. So this is an international accreditation agreement for professional engineering academic degrees. So always Washington Accord, they are having a certain agreement for professional engineering. The engineering education should be like outcome based education. Whatever you can study, you can apply to the society. So what their problems may arise, you can able to solve. What is the purpose of studying the mathematics? If you study the mathematics like calculus, algebra, and integration, differentiation, how do you apply this integration, differentiation to real world problems? That type of idea thinking should be there. And this Washington Accord, it was established in 1989. So majorly the graduates of accredited programs in any of signatory countries. So some countries obviously they're following this Washington Accord program, accredited program. These countries are recognized by other signatory countries having met the academic requirement for entry into the practice of engineering. So for example, the curriculum, it is vary from the country to country. So but always any technical education, we should follow certain principle, what is the application of mathematics, physics and chemistry, then only you should have an engineering. If you have a better practice of engineering, if you wanted to become a quality engineer, you should supposed to understand the concept, outcome of the system. This is what the Washington Accord says, and in this is very important for the outcome based education. So even suppose some majority of institutions, they can follow the, not only for NBA, NAC and autonomous, they can follow the Washington Accord. It is the one of the standard one globally. If when you have the certification, definitely you can able to work globally, not only in India, in abroad, USA, Germany, Japan, any countries you are eligible to apply. The only thing is the quality of education, outcome based education. So coming to this, what is this outcome based education? Mainly, the first and foremost important point is it focus on student learning by using learning outcome statements. So that is what very important, using learning outcome statement to make explicit what the student is expected to be able to know and understand to do. Understand or do. That is what. So what is the purpose of studying manufacturing technology? What is the purpose of studying in first year itself Python? So especially in engineering education, in the first year level, they can put in the Python subject, programming language. So why they can introduce in the first year itself? So this Python programming and coding language will be useful for the industry requirement. Nowadays, you can see any software job, they require some programming skills and coding skills. When you learn at the end of the fourth year, it is difficult to understand, difficult to meet the industry requirement. That's why the curriculum can be changed. So when I was studying, so only the programming language, that is Fortran 14. Okay, Fortran. After that, Pascal came and C language, C++, Java. Now it is Python. Okay, so like that, every academic year, the changes has been done consistently, so that the student also will able to change his attitude based on the outcome based education. So whenever you wanted to survive in the industry, you can able to assess what you have the strengths, what the industry requirement, you can fulfill the industry requirement, what are the curriculum you have. So nowadays, basically the industry can take the student, he can able to understand clearly. That is what the student, what is expected, is able to know and understand in during 4 years of course or not. And another important thing, the providing learning activities which will help the student to reach these outcomes. So for example, if you go to the first day of the first year class, directly what is your aim? So majority of the students, they can say, I wanted to become software engineer. If it is CSE branch students, if you ask a mechanical engineering student, so I wanted to become an engineer. Even that mechanical engineering student also, you can say that I wanted to become a software engineer. Nowadays, discipline is a matter something, multidisciplinary also. Even mechanical engineering, you can able to survive in the programming coding language also, because computer science people only, they can learn only CSE background, whereas in the mechanical engineering, they can understand the creativity of all machines and manufacturing technologies and the process design, etc., and which ideas they can implement in the computer coding and programming language. That's why initially to get job it's somewhat difficult for the core branches like mechanical and civil and electrical. Once they can get the job in software, they can easily within a fraction of 4 years and 5 years, they can lead to be some team leader and some topmost position they can follow in the software industry also. And this outcome based education, majorly it will assessing the extent to which the student meets these outcomes or not through the use of explicit assessment criteria. So this is very important. In traditional teaching learning methods, they are only passive learners. Whatever you give the textbook, and they will read the textbook, and finally the questions will be framed through the textbook, and they will give some rote learning. Rote learning means by hearting, simply by hearting. But suppose if you ask other than the textbook question, they may think. So majority of the students they can now able to. That is why you can compare it. Why the people are writing JEE exam more than 10 lakhs people, but the qualifying is only 2 lakhs. So that is what the competitive spirit and concepts that is missing in the lower level education. That is what rote learning can be done in traditionally. Now it has been changed. The syllabus also can be updated as per the requirement of the industry. What is focus of the student? What is required? What is the how can able to perform? So that you should able to understand. We should reduce the memorizing type of learning. Always you can able to do some creative thinking, analyzing capabilities, and reasoning, aptitude. These type of learning should be learned more so that you may survive in the industry for more number of years. Okay, so this is what about outcome based education. Next, what how do we implementation of OBE is mainly these are the five major steps for the implementation of OBE. For any higher educational institution, effective program educational objective should be framed. So that is PEOs, effective program educational objectives. These are A to J. So there are 12 PUs are there. And what are the effective program outcomes? So program in the sense it is a branch. Either he or she may be wanted to join computer science engineering. Either he or she may be join electronic and communication engineering, or he or she may join in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or chemical engineering. These are the program. So for that, what are the effective program educational objectives for the 4 year duration of the course? And after completion of the 4 years, how the program outcomes, the chemical engineering student can able to perform in a chemical industry job, or he may join in a software industry. A computer science programming student, he may join software, or he may be getting some other job. So like that, if you frame the effective program educational objectives, and automatically the program outcomes will be assessed by some of the tools and some of the issues and from the stakeholders. Okay, and the third important thing is when you wanted to implement the OBE is practical assessment tools. There are some practical assessment tools which is very much essential for the engineering education. That is why the laboratories will have to understand creative thing and uh, self-learning techniques and all. If you don't have the practical, definitely is difficult to assess the what the component, what the machine working is. During COVID-19, the majority of the students they suffered a lot. They don't even conduct the laboratories because they are all from the work from home, all the online studies, online classes. Even though some colleges they can able to do some online virtual laboratory techniques also. That is why a, any educational institution having all these type of infrastructure and resources and faculty, definitely the student able to implement the outcome based education. And another important thing is effective assessment planning. So this is what another important for assessment should be good. Whenever if you conduct the any program, one course will be there. If you complete the one unit, immediately can assess. You should conduct a assignment, or if you conduct a slip test, or if you conduct a some objective type questions, how many marks the student able to get. So based on that, the teacher also can understand the way of teaching is able to understand the student or not. And definitely he or she may be slow learners, or he may be some fast learners. Based on that, the teacher also can able to perform each and every student ideas to be according to the student learning only. He can able to develop his way of teaching learning methods. And another last but not least is the robust evaluation planning. So this is what always nowadays the technology. After 2000, the students are multidisciplinary activities. Even by birth, a boy, a small kid not able to eat the food, they can keep the mobile phone by showing the games. They are putting the food to a small child. So that means by birth, child itself learning the technology, multi-talented. Seeing, watching, and eating. The three different multi-talent understanding can be obtained from the student, so that he or she should be able to perform robust evaluation planning. So if you have a good planning, definitely you can able to sustain the present industry requirement. And let us see the some of the basic characteristics of the OBE curricula. So if you see, it has a program objectives, program outcomes, course outcomes, and performance indicators. You should able to, for example, generally first class 60%. A student can score the 60% of the marks in internal or external. He may be first class. And how many students in a class of 60 number of students you can able to attempt that test? You can't get the out of 60, all the 60 people can't get the first mark. Definitely some slow learners will be there, some people only some moderate marks will be there, some people they may fail on the subjects also, but failing the subject need not be, don't have some idea, he's having some creative thinking also there, that develop is what is in passion, accordingly can able to understand. And another important thing, it is an objective and outcome driven, where every stated objective and outcomes can be assessed and be evaluated. And these are the some basic important characteristics of the OBE curricula. And the final important thing is it is centered around the needs of the student and the stakeholders. So that is what very important. What is the student requirement? Even whenever if you, even the parents' mentality also, the students, their what should be either engineer or doctor. No way. But they think that only engineering, doctor, there is no other profession. There are so many professions are there. That is why the parents should assess the what should have a passion. They should identify. So then only with this passion he can able to perform better and well, and he will be settled in a good in life. And stakeholders means the parents and industrialists, and some of the whatever the should alumni also the already studied, so you can able to ask the alumni of the student, when they were studying it is totally different, now the student they can give some ideas. If you study C language it is not sufficient, you can able to go for Python. So maybe another couple of years the Python should not be there. Some other another programming language should be introduced. You can able to stick on that updated language also. That is why here what the student needs and what the stakeholders requirement. That is also another important. And coming to this mission and vision. This is what if you see the any technical education institution, they should have some vision and mission. Even the industries also they have a clear vision and mission. Vision statement is what is your aim after 4 years. Mission means to reach that vision. What are the steps you have to take? What are the resources? What you are introducing to reach your vision. So, for example, you can see in a deemed to be universities and even some topmost NITs and IITs also, they have a vision like to be premier university that propagates the generation and dissemination of knowledge in cutting edge technologies. So this is what cutting edge technologies. So every day the technology has been changes. So the initially dot matrix printer is there. After that laser printer is there. Whenever you can put in the paper will get the print. Now 3D printing has been introduced. 3D printing means that is what a kid is been crying for some toy. Immediately you can generate one elephant. in the system, just you can print it, you will have some doll of elephant. Immediately the child will it stop his crying. Okay, so that is why it is starting with the technology, cutting edge technology. Now it is 3D technology again. Maybe 4 or 5D technology also may be introduced based on the requirement. Okay, and this is what vision statement. Any engineering colleges or universities, and they have proper vision and mission. And coming to this deemed to be university mission means to deliver quality academic programs based on the state of art R&D, research and development. The institution having proper R&D is not there, is there. If you have a R&D means definitely they can keep on working. What will be after next 5 years? What will be the next 10 years? So like that they can do the research. Definitely they can change in the curriculum, and they can change in the laboratories. They can change in the teaching learning methods. Automatically they may survive in the present industry. And also to attract the nurture quality minds who will contribute toward the global knowledge of economy. So nowadays you can see, once upon a time to get a job in abroad is so difficult. Now work from home, the people are working from India only. So many global technologies, global oriented industries also. So to attract means automatically the Washington Accord and some NBA, NAC, National Board of Accreditation, assessment. These things are quality assessment techniques. Institution having NAC and NBA, definitely they can fit with globally. Any in the world, they can able to survive. But suppose if you study in a low quality institution, definitely it is very difficult to have. Even though if you're having the 90% of marks, they don't have some coding and program skills. They can't survive in the present competitive world. And another important thing is to inculcate strong research culture within a dynamic, efficient, effective team of academic and support staff. Any institution, they should have some culture, research culture. What for this course has been studied. So what will be the creation of that course? What is the implementation of the studies? For example, if you study a metal casting process, this traditional process are there. So what is the different advanced latest techniques, automation casting process has been introduced or not? And similarly, if you go for welding, traditional arc welding, gas welding, nowadays laser welding, electron beam welding, so many automated weldings has been introduced. Still the research is going on. So many high standard automated welding techniques also has been introduced based on the requirement of the industry. So this is what the mission of the deemed to be university. For example, if you take the faculty of engineering and technology, how do you prefer the vision and mission of the statement of this engineering and technology? So for example, you can say to be a competitive engineering faculty. So you can see teacher centering, to be a competitive engineering faculty that innovates learning and research as well as supports the production of versatile graduates facing the challenges of globalization. Suppose a mechanical engineering faculty, if you are not able to have the technology changes like learning the uh, uh, programming languages and some of the 3D languages, artificial intelligence technologies and all, it is very difficult to survive. So there are some core branches are very useful, but if you are not able to update knowledge of the technology, so definitely it is very difficult to survive in the industry. And coming to this mission for the engineering and technology is to produce competent engineers who will drive and support the economy of the country. The final, what is the outcome of the country? They should be able to generate the money. They should become an entrepreneur. Then only we should give the more job opportunities for the people. So why the unemployment will be there? Because the Engineering means it is a completely job oriented course. BTech means job oriented course where the quality engineer is not able to ready as per the industry requirement. That is why we are supposed to produce the competent engineers. Definitely, we will drive and support the economy of the country. Okay, and another thing is to function as a leading faculty for R&D activities. So always the faculty duty is not teaching a two subjects and laboratory, but he can able to generate his knowledge to writing the a quality Scopus journal paper, and he can able to write a proposal so that as per the real societal problems, then definitely he may survive in the industry. And third and last important point is to serve as a catalyst for ideas, resources of ICT. So nowadays, blackboard chalk is to a online education has been introduced. Now wherever you go, even YouTube's and so many ICT lectures has been introduced. So many professors, and they can also give the some idea and creative idea type of lectures, not simply textbook oriented teaching. So what you are teaching, what is the outcome of the teaching, and what is the student able to perform, what they can able to improve their strengths. These are the very important in a technical institution. And coming to this program objectives. So mainly any program, either CSC or mechanical engineering or computer science, electronics and communication engineering. So the program objectives are very very important. This is what the program is in preparing graduates for their career, professional accomplishment. This should be published clearly in the syllabus book. This is the program. These are the career improvement. These are the accomplishment. You should publish before they join the student. And also consistent with institution missions. So that is why evidence. What is your mission? Wherever you are joining any organization, they should able to know what is the mission. And finally, involvement of the constituents and stakeholders. So evidence after completion of the program in any organization, what is the outcome? They are surveying, they are getting the well placed, or they are still not able to place, they are happy. So like that, that evidence, the stakeholders, after 2 years you can get the words from the stakeholder. Definitely you can able to change the program, some curriculum changes and some laboratory improvements of what is the requirement of the industry. That is why you need to understand the program objectives. Apart from that, what is the program outcomes? So this is also the program outcomes means expected to know and able to perform or attain by the time of graduation. So before entering to the BTech, after completion of the BTech, these the A to K outcomes are there. How you are able to strong for studying the 4 year, more than 50 to 56 courses in your program. So these A to K, have you able to achieve all these outcomes or not? You yourself self assess. So these the major these outcomes also. If you see the any institution, they can display in your institution, and even classrooms also they can put. So that is why the student able to think effectively after completion of the program. Immediately you are going to be have a higher education, or you can able to get the place in a well MNC company, or you wanted to start a business or an employer. So these things based on the program selection you can able to do effectively. Let us read all these outcomes. There are A to K outcomes are there. First outcome is ability to acquire and apply fundamental principles of science and engineering. So that is what, even though if you study mathematics in intermediate, in engineering also, are you able to apply the principles of science and engineering, that is mathematics, physics, chemistry? Are you applying the outcome of that in engineering? And the second B is capability to communicate effectively. This is what, when you wanted to improve the communication, you can able to give the seminars and some group discussion, etc. So then only you can able to involve. Now it is a globalization. If you communicate in only your mother tongue, it is very difficult to survive. So either a person should able to have a multilingual, multi-language, English, Hindi, and whenever the subject coding languages and programming languages, then only they can perform better in the industry. Third important thing, the acquisition of technical competence in specialized areas of engineering discipline. This is what specialized area. For example, if it is a mechanical means, even though if you are studied mechanical engineering, what you are specialized? You are specialized in manufacturing field, or you are specialized in thermal field, you are specialized in design field, or you are specialized in industrial engineering, or you are specialized in material side. So these are the very very important. Any engineering discipline, they have other own specialization. If you go through any one specific specialization, then you can need to study for the higher studies also for PG. And that is why you should be able to acquisition of the technical competency in a specialized areas of the engineering discipline. And the fourth one is ability to identify, formulate, model problems, and find engineering solution based on the system approach. So this is what, for example, if you take the manufacturing process subject, so it is a purely theory subject. So where you will have a formulas and model problems. So if you only focus on the theory problem, suppose when you wanted to design a casting means, how you can able to design gating systems, screw runner in-gate system. So in that definitely you need to solve some of the problems. If you only theory part, if you study, if you have a problem means, how do you calculate the pouring time in the molten metal into the mold casting? So that is a problem. Riser design, gate design, screw design. What is the pressurized system, unpressurized system? These things also very important. Even though it is a theoretical subject, when you wanted to compete with globally, you are able to assess for some problematics also. And fifth one is able to conduct research in chosen fields of engineering. The people are always thinking that we are studying only BTech, only we don't want. Even in BTech level, they will ask what is your experience. Simply, they passed in first class or distinction only. If you ask the what is your experience, you can focus on research in your field, in a respective field of engineering, either mechanical or electrical or ECE. You can able to write the some journal papers or attending conferences, attending some symposiums, etc. So that you can improve your research in your field of engineering. And understanding of the importance of sustainability and cost effectiveness in design. So this is what very important. Cost effectiveness of design. Always why you are doing design and development of engineering solution. So a student able to solve the solution, definitely he may survive. So otherwise simply getting for the marks only if you study, it is difficult to survive in the present society. And another thing is understanding and commitment of professional and ethical responsibilities. This is very important. Even a student able to understand the commitment of professional and ethical responsibilities. You can see in your program, we have a subject ethics. Huh? Ethics or values subject is there. Do you have any value education subject is there? So that you can able to understand what is the commitment to be a professional. If you are in a placed in a MNC company, what are the ethics should be followed? And another thing is able to work effectively as an individual and as a member or leader in a team. This is also another important. Some of the program you should be able to understand how to lead a team. So some people are, when you wanted to lead the team, you should organize the some activities, organize the some functions, conferences, and some cultural activities. So then only they can able to become a leader. And another important thing is ability to multi-skilled engineer with good technical knowledge. Even a person, if it is a mechanical engineering student, we should not only focus on only mechanical. He can able to focus on electrical. He can be able to focus on computer science. Multi-skilled engineer, multidiscipline knowledge is required in the present industry scenario. Then only the leadership and entrepreneur skills will be developed. And the Jth parameter is awareness of the social, cultural, global, and environmental responsibility as an engineer. An engineer, he should be a social, cultural, global, environmental responsibility should be there. So then only he may be survive, and wherever you go, you can able to do in a better things. And last but not least, capability and enthusiasm of self-improvement through continuous professional development and lifelong learning. So first, after BTech, no need to study. It is a lifelong learning. Huh? L means birth to death. It is the life. Whenever until you are be there in the earth, you should learn something. So not only textbooks and whatever the requirement of your abilities, you can able to lifelong learning. So that is why wherever you go, the self improvement and self learning is very very important. You can see the our honorable former President Abdul Kalam, when he is starting after retirement of president, also is always giving some guest lectures and seminars for learning the things, lifelong learnings. When he at the in his career also always learning, teaching, learning, and giving some ideas to the society and responsibilities, etc. That is why these are the some important program outcomes is needed. Okay, so another important thing is learning outcomes. These are expected from certain subject, and these are assessed and evaluated through various measuring tools. And here, let us see, these are the requirements from the students. Nowadays, the present generation students, there will be the three important things. First one is active role and ethics and committed to learning. So these three is very very important. A student must come prepared for each class to contribute by teaching others, actively participating and taking risk. Without taking risk, difficult to get it to become a team leader or entrepreneur, etc. Who are taking the risk, that person will be a entrepreneur. And learning from the instructor or classmates or teammates, etc. And ethics, these are the respect, trust, and openness should be there. Nowadays, the student having not openness, so trust should be there, respect on the teacher, on the friend, on whatever thing, and commitment to learn. This is a continual improvement for the. These three things are very very essential from the student requirement. Similarly, these are the assessment tools for the program and courses. So whenever in any educational institution, higher educational institution, exit surveys and exit interviews, based on that only they can improve. And alumni surveys and interviews, the successful person, employer surveys and interviews. And what is the starting? Always nowadays, present generation is how much salary can able to give. Even they don't have certain strengths also, their always mindset will be salary package. And another important thing is the people are wanted to join in higher studies in abroad and all. We should have a certain criteria and aptitude, reasoning. They can able to attempt the GRE, TOEFL, and IELTS, etc. And performance in group and internship assignment in third year level itself, so that they may survive in the industry problem solving techniques can be easily understand. And finally, assess assignments, report testing, test, these also very very important for the assessment tools for the students in engineering education. And apart from that, student surveys, individual or group interviews, some placement peer evaluations will be done, some self evaluations also should be performed, and behavioral observation. So these are some of the assessment tool for your program and courses also, and some written project reports, oral presentation, live and video presentation, and by attending, presenting the some formulated problems. So how do you solve the some industry related problems? So how do you write the proposals, and how the classroom assessment techniques can be developed. So this is also will be including the outcome based education. So this is why this outcome based education is a very much essential in a engineering technologies, and a student must able to understand the outcome based education on its program and courses also. Okay, thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.